So for the introduction of the Realme 7 Pro, I'm just going to do one thing, jot down the key downgrades and upgrades compared to the Realme 6 Pro, which of course was its predecessor. Now, this will give us a clear idea of what Realme is trying to achieve with this new phone. Firstly, the body is made of anti-glare plastic now instead of glass. This makes it lighter at 182 grams compared to the 202 gram weight of the Realme 6 Pro. The display is now a smaller but brighter 6.4-inch 60Hz AMOLED panel, but yes, you lose out on the high refresh rate 90Hz setting. Plus, there's an older generation Corning Gorilla Glass 3 Plus protection instead of Gorilla Glass 5. You get a faster, much brighter 65 watt super dart charging and a slightly larger 4500 mAh battery. The primary 64 megapixel camera is a Sony IMX682 sensor compared to a Samsung GW1 on the 6 Pro. The 12 megapixel telephoto camera on the 6 Pro makes way for a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The selfie camera setup has been changed from a 16 megapixel primary plus 8 megapixel ultra wide dual front camera setup to a single 32 megapixel shooter now. And finally, you get stereo speakers on the 7 Pro. The more you look at these differences, you might think that the 7 Pro is not much of an upgrade from the 6 Pro. But you know what? After having used it, it feels like an upgrade. Hi, I'm Ashok from Mr. Phone, and in this video, I'm going to find out why I think that the 7 Pro is a good upgrade over the 6 Pro, and of course, take you through my full review of the phone. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever Mr. Phone puts out an awesome new tech video. Also, I have to tell you guys this, the cool folks over at Glazed Ink have sponsored this video. I'm pretty sure that you guys already know about Glazed Ink. Glazed Ink makes tempered glasses for most of the mid-range, flagship and budget phones out there. So if you have a phone, you can possibly find a tempered glass out there for you. And the Realme 7 Pro and the Realme 7 series in total will also get tempered glasses, very high quality tempered glasses, 2.5D curved glasses, which are definitely better than many of the aftermarket solutions that you get out there. So you should definitely go and check out their website. And in case you guys like the tempered glasses, we have a special discount code which should be flashing on your screen right now. With the 7 Pro, Realme has made a shorter, narrower, thinner and lighter phone compared to the 6 Pro. That is mostly because Realme has decided to use anti-glare plastic instead of glass. To be entirely honest, this is the first time that I legit felt that plastic is way better than glass here, especially in this segment. This is a very high quality polycarbonate structure with a stunning matte finish that makes the phone feel very polished when you touch it. You also don't get smudges easily, so that's another advantage. I like both the colors, mirror blue and mirror white finishes. Can't really pick a favorite out here. What I like about the Realme 7 Pro's design is that it doesn't need any sort of wacky lightning streak or a massive logo plastered on the rear for it to look attractive. It does so by being understated, classy and of course elegant as well. The idea here is to keep it simple, silly. The camera bump on the rear is a nice little rectangular module sitting on the top left corner. There is a slight bump but not so much that it will bother you. The plastic frame has a good clicky power button on the right and a very good volume rocker on the left as well. Also on the left is a triple slot tray for 2 SIM cards and 1 micro SD card. At the top you have a mic and at the bottom you get the headphone jack, another mic, a USB 2.0 spec Type-C port and a speaker grill. Fun fact, this speaker grill works in tandem with the earpiece as a stereo setup. More about this later. Essentially, the Realme 7 Pro is one of the nicest feeling phones I've held in my hand all year long, and the kind of fit and polish that it brings to this price segment is completely awesome. Plus, it is extremely light and not really a behemoth, and that makes it easy to use it with one hand. And I really like the direction Realme has taken with the Realme 7 Pro for the design of the phone. Having said that, Realme keeps innovating with design or keeps changing the design for every iteration of its phones. So the 8 Pro could be completely different from the 7 Pro. So love it while you have it basically. But one thing that I really want to stress on right now is the fact that the ideal weight of a smartphone, according to me at least, should be under 200 grams, just like the Realme 7 Pro. Write that down somewhere so that you can reference it whenever you're buying your next smartphone. More than any other change in the display specs, I like the fact that the Realme 7 Pro has a smaller 6.4-inch panel. This time Realme has opted to go with a 60Hz AMOLED panel, so you lose out on the high refresh rate display for the deep blacks of AMOLED. I really like high refresh rate panels, but with the Realme 7 Pro I genuinely don't miss the 90Hz setting. Plus it didn't hurt that the colors popped and the peak brightness was much higher at 600 nits. The main reason why I didn't miss the high refresh rate is because of smooth optimizations done to software. In fact, under Realme Labs you have the option to enable smooth scrolling, which is in beta and it works phenomenally well though. To add to the good features of the display, the tiny punch hole camera sits on the top left corner and conveniently hides away when you hold it in landscape mode to play games. And no, there is no hole punch banding or green tint issue here. Of course, the LED bleed from the edges is slightly uneven, but that is something you won't really notice in day-to-day usage. Finally, you have your regular wideband L1 support for HD streaming, which is obviously great. The only downside is that Realme has decided to save costs with the glass protection. You now get Corning's Gorilla Glass 3 Plus instead of Gorilla Glass 5. Here's a fun fact: Gorilla Glass 3 Plus is actually harder, so it will not be very resistant to breakage happening because of drops. But Gorilla Glass 3 definitely has better scratch protection compared to Gorilla Glass 5. Really, this spec downgrade should be the least of your concerns. What should be of your concern is a fairly slow optical fingerprint scanner. Realme is using a Goodix solution and it wasn't the fastest out there. I was slightly irritated with the delay in vibration feedback, and talking about haptics, you get a soft vibration motor that is not very precise. It works well for daily usage interactions, but it is definitely not a great experience while typing. Now the Realme 7 Pro is running on Realme UI version 1 based on Android version 10. It is very refined now and I like the clean approach to design. You get a nice dark mode, smooth animations and a whole bunch of interesting customization features as well. My favorite aspect of Realme UI is the fact that you get Google Feed on the -1 page. My only gripe with Realme UI is a design consistency based one. The entire UI has blue accents but the search function has a green color. Looks like Realme forgot to change that from ColorOS version 7. But this is such a minor gripe, something that you shouldn't even take seriously. It's like that one studious kid in class who'd come up to you and tell you that, you know what, I just got 99 out of 100 in maths. Well, you know what, take 1 mark from my just past 38 marks, but you please shut up. Forget all that though, the best part about the software is there is absolutely minimal bloatware on the phone. The only extras are mostly first-party apps such as Realme Paisa, and one third-party app is the WPS Office, which is useful. Realme has in fact even used Google's native dialer, calendar and messaging apps. It is quite refreshing to see. As for the camera setup on the rear, like I mentioned, you get a new 64 megapixel Sony IMX682 sensor. There's an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera as well, a 13 megapixel selfie shooter and a couple of other cameras that no one needs to know about. No, really, the 2 megapixel macro and the 2 megapixel depth sensor are pointless additions. So if you want a detailed look at the camera performance, you can check out the camera comparison I made against the Poco X2 and the Galaxy N31s. But let me quickly run through my findings. Firstly, the color accuracy is on point and Realme has worked hard to make it look as close to natural as possible. It is praiseworthy. You have a few new filters as well. I really like the Cyberpunk one. Which is your favorite? Now the same applies for improved dynamic range performance as well. Also the details are crisp in the pixel bin samples, but even better in the 64 megapixel ones. Realme has upgraded the algorithm to such an extent that competitors will find it tough to catch up. Selfies are wider but not the best looking, but they're not that bad. Ultra-wide shots are not the best though. You can get better with the M31s. Portraits look really good and they are further enhanced by fancy AI portrait colors. Video performance is alright at best, however the audio recording is plain bad. Do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the colors, the image quality, the details, the stabilization, the sound recording, and of course the dynamic range when I'm shooting directly into the sun. Alright, this is what it looks like. And you guys can let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Of course, I will share my evaluation as well. Low light performance has been drastically improved with the new Nightscape mode. The pictures look so damn good. Plus you also get a pro Nightscape mode to control the ISO, shutter speed, etc. I love it. That's not it. You also get a special Nightscape video mode now and it enhances the video recording in the night as well. Now I agree that the Realme 7 Pro's camera performance would have been better if all the cameras could take good pictures or at least be useful. Having said that, the improvements made in camera algorithm absolutely matter. And if somebody wants a good primary camera, then I can easily recommend the Realme 7 Pro, and I'm pretty sure that the photographers would agree as well. But if you want something more versatile, something that can do better ultra wide, better macro, all of those things, then I would suggest that you take a look at the Samsung Galaxy M31s instead. The Realme 7 Pro's performance is smooth, fast and very responsive thanks to the Snapdragon 720G processor. Our unit had 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM, and coupled with 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage, you get a phone that is as good as OnePlus Nord in daily usage. There is nothing really to complain about here. Even gaming is great on the phone. I played many sessions of COD and had no hangups anywhere. By now we all know that the 720G is a great chip and there is nothing to really worry about here. The Realme 7 Pro's other big hardware feature is the fact that it has a stereo speaker setup now with support for Dolby Atmos. But here's the thing, the sound is not very good. Firstly, the driver sizes are asymmetrical and therefore you can clearly tell the bottom speaker sounds louder than the earpiece. But if you can let that go, the mids are recessed and the bass is completely non-existent. Here's what you need to know. Good stereo speakers are better than good mono speakers, are better than bad stereo speakers, are better than bad mono speakers. So I'd have easily taken a well-tuned mono speaker instead of this half-hearted attempt. Thankfully, the headphone jack supports high-res audio and the performance is actually very good. You will enjoy listening to music on the 7 Pro, that I'm sure of. The biggest reason why the Realme 7 Pro is going to draw a lot of attention is because the phone supports 65-watt Super Dart charging feature. This means you can charge the 4500 mAh battery from 0 to 100% in under 35 minutes. That's just nuts, and that makes it the fastest charging phone in India. Does the battery life matter if the charging speed is this good? Well, you will be surprised to know that even the battery performance, thanks to some excellent battery life tuning, is just phenomenal. I got a screen on time of 8 hours and 30 minutes on a couple of occasions. Essentially, the battery on the 7 Pro will easily last you 1.5 days and some more if you use it moderately. Now moving on, I use the 7 Pro on an Airtel 4G network in Gurgaon. There's no carrier aggregation on the Realme 7 Pro, but the network was fairly stable. And the call quality is excellent too. You can record calls as well, but since it is the Google dialer, it will alert the person on the other end of the call. Plus, you can make video calls, but it routes through Google Duo, which is fine too. So we're at the end of my review, and the Realme 7 Pro has to be my favorite smartphone under Rs 20,000. That's it, that's my verdict. You know what, I'm going to recommend this phone to everyone, including folks like yourself. What I really like about the Realme 7 Pro is that the experience trumps the specs on paper. Nokia used to do that earlier in this price category, and now the Realme 7 Pro has managed to do that, and Realme has really upped the ante. Let's take a look at how it compares against its competitors. Now for the first comparison, you can buy the Realme 6 Pro over the Realme 7 Pro only if you absolutely want a telephoto camera or a glass build, or if you really want a smooth 90Hz refresh rate. For every other parameter, the Realme 7 Pro is better. Should a Realme 6 Pro user upgrade though? No, wait for the 8 Pro. The Poco X2 has a slightly better graphics performance and double the refresh rate on the display, but I generally think that the Realme 7 Pro is a better phone thanks to the better cameras, battery performance and prettier display. Plus, it is lighter and sleeker. I like that. So between the two, I'd say go for the Realme 7 Pro. Now, the Galaxy M31s loses out to the Realme 7 Pro when it comes to battery charging speed or the sleek form factor and raw performance, but the M31s has a better display and better ultra-wide macro and selfie cameras. That said, the 7 Pro definitely comes with a better algorithm for the main Sony IMX682, which is also the same sensor on the Galaxy M31s. So in this scenario, identify your priority correctly so that you can make the right choice. If you can't live with the laggy performance of the Galaxy M31s and you're okay with losing out on better tertiary cameras and secondary cameras, then the Realme 7 Pro would be a better choice for you. The Motorola One Fusion Plus is the company's best mid-range phone in a long time, but there are serious compromises, especially in the form of a lacking compass module. I feel that the Realme 7 Pro is a better bargain. So yeah, that's that about the Realme 7 Pro. I hope this helps you make a decision about the phone, and do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it and what kind of comparisons you'd like to see. Until next time, this is Ashar from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friend.